What's up, everybody? I'm Landon Pangburn. This is my brother, Preston Pangburn, and we are co-hosts of the Shoot Your Shot Sports Podcast. Today, we're making our first venture into the YouTube world with something that we love to do in our podcast, which is called a Big Three Draft.
Yeah, so the Big Three Draft is where we will draft three of anything. It can be sports-related or non-sports related. A lot of times it'll be inspired by our fan mailbag. This one came from our friend Mitch Twa. He wanted to know if you could change rules in sports, which ones would you want to change and why?
I love that because there's a lot of them.
There are a lot of them. There are a lot of terrible rules in sports that need to go away.
Agreed. All right, let's do some rock, paper, scissors for first pick.
Yep.
All right.
Let's go.
You got me.
Okay, I feel good about my number one, so I really wanted the number one pick here because I'm pretty sure you were going to steal it.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so NFL overtime.
Okay.
Yeah, so NFL needs to adopt college overtime's rules. Everyone knows college football overtime is one of the most electric things in sports.
The best.
They start from the 25-yard line. They get 3 downs like normal. Each team at least has a chance to get the ball. So usually if you win the toss, you defer because, if the first team kicks a field goal, you get a touchdown and it's a walk-off win. What's better than a walk-off tutty?
Exactly. The best.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go NFL overtime. Changing to college rules. They can't start from the 25-yard line, though, because the kickers are just too good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all those guys can hit from 55, 60. So I think that you do it the exact same way college does, but maybe start from the 40-yard line.
Okay, I was thinking 35, but yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and it would just make NFL overtime incredible. The number one example I think of, and I think we've talked about this before, but 2018, the AFC Championship game, the Patriots were playing the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. Goes to overtime. Patriots win the toss. Goes straight down the field. It's over. Pat Mahomes never gets the ball.
Yeah, it sucks. Fans get robbed of seeing Pat Mahomes do what he does.
Can't happen.
Exactly.
So that's my number one.
Okay. I hope this isn't cheating, but my number one pick is also NFL overtime related, but in a different way. I'm going straight up with the coin toss. I think we should get rid of it. If the NFL is going to structure overtime how they currently do, which is not how you propose, but how they currently have it, I think that with the ball, getting the ball first being so important, that it needs to have some sort of skill involved with how you get the ball. Like a little rock, paper, scissors, maybe some arm wrestling, some thumb war, a sports trivia question.
Punt, pass, and kick competition.
That would be sick.
You can nominate 3 players.
What if you get to pick the one guy on the other team who gets to be in the punt, pass, and kick? Therefore, that's part of your strategy as a team is you can't have any liabilities on the punt, pass, and kick.
Okay.
Yeah, so, okay. I think NFL coin toss going into overtime is the number one I want to change.
Okay, I like that. That's an interesting one, yeah, because a guy like Tariq Cohen, I think he's 5'6", 150. If he has to go out there and do the punt, pass, and kick, he might not be very good at that.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, your long snapper, can that guy throw the ball? I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's good. All right, so for my second pick, this also might be cheating. It's somewhat of an unwritten rule, but it's I'm borrowing one from hockey.
Okay.
I think that fights in all sports should be like hockey fights.
Just allowed to happen?
Allowed to happen, and don't break it up until it goes to the ground or there's a clear break in the action.
Okay.
Because if a pitcher throws a 100-mile-an-hour fastball at some dude's head and the guy charges the mound, he should have a good 5 to 10 seconds to be able to throw a couple haymakers and try to knock that pitcher out before it gets broken up.
Yeah, that's really frustrating with baseball fights especially, is I feel like when the guys charge the mound, they never actually get a chance at the pitcher. The catcher and the first and third baseman are always there before he even gets a shot.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
The benches will clear and it gets broken up really before it even starts.
Yeah,
it might turn into a team-wide brawl, but you never get a shot at the pitcher.
Yeah, we need some more one-on-one baseball fights for at least 10 seconds. I agree with you there.
Yeah, you remember the one, I can't remember who hit him. It might have been Hunter Strickland, but it was he hit Bryce Harper with a pitch. And Bryce ran out there and threw his helmet at him.
When he missed by a mile?
He missed terribly, but that was cool. I want to see those two guys go at it for 10 seconds at least until one of them takes the other one down, and then you break it up.
And there's only UFC fights on Saturdays, so maybe we could have Herb Dean standing on the in a dugout waiting to break up the fight in addition to the normal 4 umpires. He could be an honorary umpire.
Okay, yeah, because you want to protect the best players. But that's another thing that hockey does. If someone goes after Sidney Crosby or Alex Ovechkin, a teammate might step in for them. He doesn't have to fight.
Yeah.
So you can do it that way.
Okay. I volunteer as tribute?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Defending their honor.
Okay, cool. My second pick, this is probably very, very American of me, just because I grew up with American sports. Football, for example, if you're a safety, you can never let a receiver get behind you. Basketball, you're playing transition defense. You don't let the guy behind you. So mine is offsides in soccer, just because I've never understood it. Like, get back on defense, you lazy bum. Like, don't let anybody behind you. I don't get it. And it's funny because if you ever bring this up to a soccer player, they get so offended.
Oh, yeah. Big soccer fans would not like that at all. They're like, it's a beautiful game. It's part of the game. It's like, hey, there's not enough scoring. So I allow the cherry picking.
Yes. In all honesty, I have become a big Premier League fan in the last couple of years. So I have started to come around to offsides and the strategy behind it. And there really is a lot of strategy, and it makes it pretty cool. But for most of my life, I have never understood offsides and have thought it was the most ridiculous thing. Like what I just said, get back on defense.
Right, and I know you've become a big soccer fan. It's the most popular sport in the world. It's not in America because of people like me who just don't quite get it.
Yeah.
But I think that the lack of offsides would help. I mean, I had it on my list too. If you take away offsides, let guys cherry pick, and then I also wanted to add on to that, make the net twice as big.
Twice as big? Are you two goalies?
No.
Just one guy.
Maybe 150% as big. But soccer games, I don't want to sit there for 90 minutes and end in a 0-0 draw. What do they call it? 0-0?
Yeah.
Soccer games, I want to see 11-9.
Dude, this is going to be wild. As soon as you make the goal that big, guys are going to be sniping 2-point goals from midfield. Next thing you know, it's going to be a different sport.
I want to see 11-9 soccer games. That's how you get America on board.
Okay, all right. Go ahead with your next one.
Okay. So my next one, it's another, not necessarily unwritten rule, but in baseball, you are no longer allowed to take steroids. They test for it.
Yes, they do.
Scrap
it. You just want
out of the game.
The most juiced out, massive head guys hitting 73 bombs in a year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You referring to Barry Bonds there. Yeah, I think his head literally grew like 2 hat sizes from the beginning to the end of his career.
His head grew as much as your soccer goal.
Yeah, seriously. You don't have to require that players take steroids, of course, but let it happen. Free reign. I mean, back in late 90s, early 2000s, the steroid era, the most electric era of baseball. They had this documentary over this past summer. It was called, I think, Long Gone Summer, about that home run race between Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. Ken Griffey was in there. Not a steroid guy, by the way. But just let them juice up, have guys hitting 60, 70 bombs a year. The pitchers might not like it, but whatever.
I mean, Mark McGwire, those seasons, his forearms like the size of my torso. No wonder he was crushing the Big Mac land. Like, that guy was hitting shots.
Yeah, they had the Big Mac land out there in St. Louis. You had Barry Bonds hitting one into McCovey Cove every game. I mean, that was so cool.
It was dope.
Steroid era baseball guy.
Okay, I like that. I got to decide what I want to go with on my third pick. I think I'm going to go with something that they're testing out right now. I like the universal DH in baseball. I mean, we watched the Braves growing up forever, living in Atlanta, watching the National League small ball. But to be honest, nobody wants to see the pitcher come up to bat and just hit 083 on the year. I mean, there's the occasional heartwarming story, like Fat Bartolo Colon hitting his first home run in his 28th season in Major League Baseball. But overall, I just want to see the best batters up to bat. The last thing I want to see is a pitcher coming up there hacking it 3 fastballs and missing by a mile.
Yeah, I agree, especially after spending my whole life as a fan of a National League team. Like, when a pitcher comes up, the best thing that can happen is if someone's on base and he sack bunts him over.
Yeah, if he doesn't hit into a double play, it's awesome.
Right.
It's a win.
Yeah, exactly. You're hoping for a strikeout a lot of times when the pitcher comes up if there's someone on base.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm totally on board with the universal DH. Not only does the DH make sense, but having a different rule for the American League than the National League is just pure nonsense.
Very frustrating. I'm with you.
Yeah. So I'm way in on that. I like that one. And then you want to go into some honorable mentions?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
Okay, so I had the no offsides in soccer with the net twice as big. So scratch that one off the list. I really just have one honorable mention, and it kind of has to do with what you mentioned earlier with the punt, pass, and kick competition. But I'm going with the NBA.
Okay.
Death to the jump ball.
Okay, what do you propose instead?
So the jump ball, it's not fair when 2 guys get tied up for possession, and one of them is a point guard and one's a center, because the center is going to win the jump ball every time. Especially when it's players say, the point guard Dame Lillard and the center's Boban. Dame's a way better player, but you just take one element of the game, height, and they lose the possession of the ball.
Okay.
And especially if it's in a huge moment, it's not fair. And I'm saying this partially as a short guy, fighting for justice for us. But so I propose something like the punt, pass, and kick, full-on skills competition.
Just mid-game, break out into a full skills competition, and as soon as it finishes, that winning team resumes with the ball?
Right.
Yeah, that would dramatically win the games.
No, it's fine. You know how they do it at NBA All-Star Weekend? They do the 3-point contest, the dunk contest, and the skills competition.
Yeah.
Just have the things ready where they throw the bounce passes into the little nets.
Yeah.
They do a few shots, a couple other things, whatever they do. I don't know. Spend a minute on it.
Okay.
And now that they've introduced replays to the NBA, they've slowed down the game anyway. I mean, this would at least be entertaining.
Get rid of the challenge because the challenge sucks in the NBA.
Challenge is terrible.
And then add in the skills competition. Okay.
I mean, no one wants to see a jump ball.
Agreed. Okay, well, I have 2 honorable mentions. Neither one of them are quite as entertaining as that one, but they're ones that I actually am taking very seriously and think they should be implemented. One is I hate basket interference, especially offensively in basketball. I really love when I watch the Olympics, the international rule, where once the ball hits the rim, it's free game for anybody.
So even if it's in the cylinder, there's no goaltending?
Who cares? Like, I don't understand why if the ball's bouncing on the rim, an offensive player couldn't jump up and tip slam it or tip it in. Like, it makes no sense. Or if it's bouncing around, defense grab it off the rim.
But I guess the tricky thing there is, so if it bounces off the rim and it's floating above the cylinder and an offensive player and a defensive player are going up, the defensive player can't touch it at all.
Oh,
but
the
offensive player can dunk it.
Oh, you can.
Okay,
Yeah, it's free game. Once it hits the rim, anybody can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I know. Whenever I watch the Olympics, I'm like, we need to adopt this in the NBA. It's way better.
It would actually be kind of sick because there are some of these shots that bounce off the rim and go 8 feet in the air.
Yes.
Just to see someone like Giannis, like it's about to drop in, but just go out and pull it out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It'd be dope. And then the other one, I'm a big UFC guy, and I have a group of friends that always watches UFC together. We've been saying this for over a decade. I hate round-by-round scoring in the UFC. Like, there's too many instances where one guy does way more damage, but the other guy sneaks out 2 rounds barely by, getting 1 takedown or whatever, and he wins the fight because he won 2 out of 3 rounds. I think they should still have judges, and at the end of the fight, they each cast a vote for who won the fight. That's it.
I kind of like that, especially because they always kind of know in the back of their heads at least, or someone in their corner tells them if they're winning or not.
Yeah.
So you might go into the final round and just play defense.
Exactly. It makes for more exciting end of fights, too, because it's still winnable, even if you're down a majority of rounds.
Yeah. Like, I feel like we've watched our fair share of fights where a guy will win the first 3 rounds, get killed in the 4th, and then lose the 5th, too. Like, he's just leaking blood in the 5th round. And if you extended the fight by 1 minute, the guy might die, but he wins.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right. Well, I don't know what y'all think about that. Y'all can cast some votes in the comment section for who you think won our Big 3 draft. If you have any other comments or anything that you think we missed, go ahead and comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to like this video. Hope to see y'all soon.